The theory of the unconscious, Freud's theory of the unconscious, then, is highly deterministic, a fact which, given the nature of 19th-century science, should not be surprising. Freud was arguably the first thinker to apply deterministic principles systematically to the sphere of the mental, and to hold that the broad spectrum of human behavior is explicable only in terms of the, usually hidden, mental processes or states which determine it. Thus, instead of treating the behavior of the neurotic as being causally inexplicable, which had been the prevailing approach for centuries, Freud insisted, on the contrary, on treating it as behavior for which it is meaningful to seek an explanation by searching for causes in terms of the mental states of the individual concerned. Hence the significance which he attributed to slips of the tongue or pen, obsessive behavior and dreams. All these, he held, are determined by hidden causes in the person's mind, and so they reveal in covert form what would otherwise not be known at all. This suggests the view that freedom of the will is, if not completely an illusion, certainly more tightly circumscribed than is commonly believed. For it follows from this that whenever we make a choice we are governed by hidden mental processes of which we are unaware and over which we have no control. The postulate that there are such things as unconscious mental states at all is a direct function of Freud's determinism. His reasoning here being simply that the principle of causality requires that such mental states should exist. For it is evident that there is frequently nothing in the conscious mind which can be said to cause neurotic or other behavior. An unconscious mental process or event, for Freud, is not one which merely happens to be out of consciousness at a given time, but is rather one which cannot, except through protracted psychoanalysis, be brought to the forefront of consciousness. The postulation of such unconscious mental states entails, of course, that the mind is not, and cannot be, either identified with consciousness, or an object of consciousness. To employ a much-used analogy, it is rather structurally akin to an iceberg, the bulk of it lying below the surface, exerting a dynamic and determining influence upon the part which is amenable to direct inspection, the conscious mind. Deeply associated with this view of the mind is Freud's account of instincts or drives. Instincts, for Freud, are the principal motivating forces in the mental realm, and as such they energize the mind in all of its functions. There are, he held, an indefinitely large number of such instincts, but these can be reduced to a small number of basic ones, which he grouped into two broad generic categories: eros, the life instinct, which covers all the self-preserving and erotic instincts, and thanatos, the death instinct, which covers all the instincts towards aggression, self-destruction, and cruelty. Thus it is a mistake to interpret Freud as asserting that all human actions spring from motivations which are sexual in their origin, since those which derive from thanatos are not sexually motivated. Indeed, thanatos is the irrational urge to destroy the source of all sexual energy in the annihilation of the self. Having said that, it is undeniably true that Freud gave sexual drives an importance and centrality in human life, human actions, and human behavior which was new, and to many,